Modern life is defined by a relentless, exhausting obsession with control. We measure our success by how effectively we can force outcomes and bend our environment to our will. This image illustrates what psychologists call the hedonistic treadmill. We are conditioned to believe that the next upgrade or the next achievement will finally bring satisfaction, yet this constant striving only keeps the goal perpetually out of reach. Many of us live by the ancient philosophy of carving and polishing. This is the belief that a good life is something we must violently sculpt, using our intellect and raw effort to force ourselves and everyone around us into a specific desired shape. But this forced action creates a profound psychological brittleness. Like a dry branch that refuses to bend, our rigid expectations make us highly vulnerable to the inevitable, jagged changes of reality. What if our foundational assumption about effort is wrong? What if the grind we rely on isn't the engine of our success, but the primary source of our exhaustion? True mastery might not require more carving, it might require totally letting go. Long ago, the sage Lao Tzu and the early Daoists proposed a radical alternative to the exhaustion of forced action. They called it Wu Wei. Often translated as effortless action, it describes a state where the doer vanishes into the deed. It is a state of total trust in the intelligence of the universe, where we stop trying to try and simply allow the right action to arise. We see this clearly in modern psychological research. This study investigated charity runners who face extreme physical suffering, finding a direct link between the concept of Wu Wei and their ability to flourish. Runners who reach a true flow state don't try to mentally conquer their pain or obsessively track the finish line. They don't use their intellect to fight the adversity they are experiencing. Instead, they achieve actionless action by focusing entirely on the present. By yielding to the reality of their physical suffering, they stop creating the internal friction that usually leads to burnout. This surrender of the ego allows the body's natural mechanics to operate optimally. Without the mind's interference, the runner becomes the run. They prove that physical endurance is not won by fighting the moment, but by yielding to it. This architecture of yielding also applies to our internal wounds. When a relationship ends, we instinctively try to control the trauma, attempting to deny the grief or detain someone who is already gone. In Daoism, a broken heart is treated as a natural process. Our desperate attempts to fix or manage the pain are often what keep the wound from healing. Non-intervention is the cure. By sitting passively, we allow the muddy water of our emotions to settle naturally until the mind clears on its own. This requires accepting the concept of Ming, treating uncontrollable human choices as if they were inevitable forces of nature, like the weather or the tides. Just as you wouldn't scream at a rainstorm, you cannot resist the shifting tides of human connection. You can only move along with them. Emotional healing begins when we stop fighting the universe's changing nature and accept the reality of impermanence. When you stop fighting the present, you cultivate something the ancients called day. This is the state of charismatic power that emerges when you are no longer projecting an agenda or forcing your will. Because you have stopped using coercive force, you stop creating resistance in the people around you. Like the runners who stopped fighting their pain, you find that others are naturally drawn to your ease, following your lead without feeling manipulated. This is the paradoxical strength of water, a soft, yielding element that can destroy solid obstacles simply by following its natural course. Stepping back from the ego doesn't make us less effective. It makes us unshakable. By yielding, we align ourselves with the momentum of the universe. Ultimately, the carving of the mind we began with, the pursuit of more knowledge and more control, can only take us so far. True completeness isn't achieved by adding something new every day, but by having the courage to drop what we think we know.